think we're going to be ready for them.
Yeah, I agree with you. And this Bengals team, a lot of people are sounding the alarm there. I've been calling them out, but let me play devil's advocate a little bit here. They tend to start slow and then they get going. That's what they've done under the Joe Burrow tenure. And it kind of came to life last week. Jamar Chase looking like that top end receiver that he has been. T. Higgins coming to life off that injury. So with those two getting going, that's the one thing that can kind of breathe life into this Cincinnati offense. Zach Moss and Chase Brown, I think they have a tough day sledding against Roquan Smith and co. Meanwhile, on the other side, Derrick Henry has gotten in the end zone almost every game, I believe. So I think that streak continues here. Pretty steep odds. Maybe you parlay it with the Ravens. I'm personally on that 2.5-point spread, been on it all week. But I think that Zay Flowers gets more involved in the offense again this week. You might see both tight ends pop up. But Huff, let us know which way you're leaning in this AFC North matchup between two teams that you hate, but I want to know which one you like today.
A lot of these AFC North matchups I tend to stay away from. I typically like a lower scoring game. The Bengals have a terrible defense this year. The reason I said what I said about the Bengals, I think if they're going to want to hang in this game and in their season, they got to win this game. You got to come out on top here. I do lean on the Ravens to win the game. I do think the Bengals will keep it within 8.5 points. That's why I said I think it's a good teaser opportunity, but I like the over as well.
Yeah, being at home is a key piece towards teasing this team up to 8.5, 9 points, whatever you can get it at. I still don't think that's the safest bet, as there's a chance of a blowout. However, it's a divisional matchup. It's at home. You got to think Joe Burrow, once heralded as one of the top quarterbacks, I still say he's top 4 when healthy and performing at his best in the league. He should be able to get some job done there. That over-under sitting at 48.5. I think there's going to be more than that today. I know that Ravens defense can be pretty stout, but the way Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase looked last week, they're going to be slinging and putting up points. Ravens are going to do the same on their end. Lamar's going to be rushing. I like a Lamar rushing total prop. He usually does it against that Bengals defense led by Trey Hendrickson and Cam Taylor-Britt. Not much outside of them. Big ground and pound, maybe Justice held through the air, but I think it's going to be a great one there. Give me the Baltimore Ravens this week.
Definitely.
All right, keeping it moving here. I am going to move into our next game on the slate, and it is the Cleveland Browns taking on the Washington Commanders here. The Cleveland Browns, a lot of controversy going in. They're underdogs here. Not many would have expected this coming into the season at plus 135 on the money line here going into Washington. The Commanders, the surprise of the season so far, Jaden Daniels looking like the Heisman at 3-1. They're coming in at 3-point favorites at home. Total sitting at 43.5. I think the good times will continue to roll. They have Austin Eckler. They have Brian Robinson Jr. I think they're able to keep it going. Hoss, let me know what you're thinking for this Commanders and Browns game.
Honestly, I really like a few different little picks here. I like the prop game here for sure. A lot of different things to look at, but if I was going to really make a pick for this game, I really like the Deshaun Watson over completions. I think he's going to have to be thrown a lot today, and I think it's going to work out well for them if they can get it done through the air. With that too, just to pair it with those completions for Deshaun Watson, I like to see Amari Cooper hit pay dirt. Definitely think they're going to have a little bit of a tough matchup there, but definitely a tough Browns team that's really underperformed, and really underwhelmed, I think, so far up to this point. But definitely a winnable game, and I'd like to see Deshaun Watson kind of get right here.
Yeah, I don't think he does get right here. I think Jaden Daniels continues with this Heisman pace. We saw him outperform Joe Burrow last week in that LSU matchup in the prime time. I think Terry McLaurin's starting to come to life too. My favorite part about this Commanders team is Cliff Kingsbury leading the way. One of the best offensive coordinators in the game. We saw it didn't work out as the head coach with Kyler Murray. A lot of other things going on in Arizona. But other than that, I think he's just able to get the job done here. The defense does scare me a bit. I think there's a decent amount of points. That running game for the Browns still awaiting Nick Chubb to get back into the mix, and that defense is supposed to be as good as it once was. Do I think they're able to get it done today? No, I don't. I think that the Redskins are going to, or Commanders are going to push for this division lead here. I think it's going to start off with a nice win today to get them to 4-1, and that's crazy. Nobody saw that coming in. 4-1 for the Washington Commanders being potential.
I think 4-1 definitely was a little bit of a surprise, but I don't know about you, Alex. I actually really like Jaden Daniels. I liked him coming out of college, and that didn't really surprise me at all. That offense was already in place. They just needed somebody at the helm that could really get the job done and make a difference through the air, and you've seen that time and time again through obviously just a few really explosive plays by Jaden Daniels, looking great in the pocket, also able to get a little things done with his feet. extend the play. But I think he really found a really good home in Washington with Terry McLaurin actually being pretty happy over these last few weeks for sure.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take them on the money line here. People talking about Austin Eckler, TD. Others talking about Jamar Chase having a good day. Starting Chase or Olave, I feel like you got to go with Jamar Chase. If you ever sat him, I think you should just stay off fantasy football. But yeah, let us know in the chat. What are you guys looking at for your fantasy lineups? Any pressing questions? Who do you need in that flex? Who do you want to hear bets on? We've got plenty of them. Anytime touchdown scores, I think Terry McLaurin's not a bad take this week. I know it's against the Browns defense that has a good secondary, a good pass rush. Jaden Daniels using his legs. Maybe you find some value there. We got Ramondre Stevenson or Alexander Madison. Oof, Antonio Gibson's getting the start, but the Patriots use that two-headed snake. I'm going to stick with Ramondre. Madison scaring me, going up against a tough Denver defense too. Hoss, I'll pass this one over to you. He's got a wide receiver and flex spot to fill. He's got Travis Etienne, T. Higgins, Scary Terry, and Josh Downs. Which two are you going with?
Oh, Etienne and Terry McLaurin, definitely. I mean, that's a pretty easy answer for me, I think. I really
knew
like
that
both
was
of them
I knew that was coming with the bias of the Cincinnati Bengals, Baltimore Ravens. T. Higgins, not a bad play in my opinion. Either Josh Downs coming off of injury. One more here at the flex. Hill, probably Justice Hill, I'm guessing. James Conner, Brandon Ayuk, or Dontavian Wicks. Dontavian Wicks, interesting piece to me today as suspended Romeo Dobbs. Christian Watson is out. He saw a bunch of targets last week, but I think the game script might be tough. Oh, it's Tyreek Hill. I mean, I feel like it's tough to sit Tyreek Hill, but I love James Conner. I think he has a tough matchup with the Niners, but he sees the volume all the way through. McBride or Kraft. Kraft here, stack it with Love. Yep, you got that because McBride, we don't know how limited he's going to be coming off the injury. In the last one here before we get back to our next game, should I start the Colts defense? They're playing the Jags. Yes, you should. The Jags are still searching for their first win of the year, so we will keep that going. All right, let's move into our next game here. The Bills and Texans, our last 1:00 game on the slate here. Perhaps the game of the slate. Hoss is like, oh, it's the Ravens and the Bengals. No, it's the Bills and the Texans. Josh Allen and CJ Stroud, two of the best quarterbacks in the league. CJ Stroud about to be one of the next ones. I think he can take that jump and push Mahomes into that 2 spot, maybe even the 1 spot. Who knows? Got to get to a bowl first. Got to do some more in the playoffs. But they have Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins active. It's the Stephon Diggs revenge game. No Joe Mixon once again. Dameon Pierce in the mix. So that'll be something to monitor. Meanwhile, Josh Allen and co. has been firing on all cylinders. This game is basically a pick 'em. +1 for the Bills, -1 for the Texans, -120 on the money line, +100 for the Bills. Over 47.5. Hoss, I'm leaning on the Texans here. You know I'm a big CJ Stroud guy. The Bills just got it done. Just got their first loss handed to them last week. On the road. They're on the road again. I like a lot of points over 47.5. I think it's going to be a slingshot duel between two great arms. Where are you thinking for Texans Bills?
I honestly, I really like the Texans too. You know how I feel about CJ Stroud. He's a really great quarterback, great guy, really making a splash in the league, not surprising at all. My pick for the day here on this one, actually one of the best picks I saw on the slate. You spoke to that Stephon Diggs revenge game, but I actually think this is going to be a Nico Collins game for sure. I am definitely going to be hitting that Nico Collins touchdown. I really think that's going to be
touchdown. Wow, not the yards.
I like the Nico Collins touchdown, definitely. When you're talking yards, I actually really like the CJ Stroud over with the passing yards. We saw what happened in Baltimore last week to that Bills defense. Without Von Miller and their ability to get to the quarterback, I think that defense is vulnerable for sure. So give me those over for the yards on CJ Stroud. And I really like the Nico Collins touchdown.
Yeah, agreed. I have that Nico Collins to lead the league in receiving. Took that after week 1. Got it at +900 on a ticket, hand printed, sitting on the fridge. So that'd be a nice one to cash coming down the stretch. He's looking great. There's a lot of coverage going elsewhere. Stroud loves to feed him, and we know how good he looks. He's better. He's the 1A over Stephon Diggs, in my opinion. Tank Dell, a very good receiver too. But Huff, what are you thinking about this Texans-Bills game? You got any thoughts on this one? Should be a shootout, potential game of the day.
Yeah, I think this is a great matchup. I do like the Texans in this one. I think CJ Stroud, like you said, that he could have a day at home in NRG Stadium. I like the Bills to keep it close. I think this is going to be everyone's favorite over of the day. But I like the Texans. Hell of a shot. I like the Texans, and I like the over, but the over kind of scares me. I'm just going to lean on Houston.
Yeah, I think it should be a good shootout here. Look for Stephon Diggs to find the end zone. I think Nico Collins gets the yards, but we got to see a blow-up performance from Stephon Diggs here. Chat, let us know if you think it's going to be Diggs or the Bills in the rematch. I think it's going to be Diggs. There's been too much slander going towards his name, kind of making me go crazy here. But I don't know. I think that Diggs and Dell and Collins are all productive today. Give me the Texans at home to beat the Buffalo Bills. A lot of people are going to be angry about, though. I know a lot of Bills bandwagon fans here. But like I said, continue to give us your questions here in the chat. We got a quick one here from the Zin guys. Shout out the Zin guys. 6 or 3. That's what I need to know. But you got the Steelers minus 2.5 on Sunday Night Football. Oof. We're going to get to that game shortly. Oof, 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 oof. One more here. 6 only. 6 only. Attaboy. Way to be. That's what we like to see. Peppermint Sixers. That's my favorite. All right, moving into our next one here. Not my favorite game. Not Haas's favorite game. One of Huff's favorite bets of the week, though. He locked this one in days ago, which is wild to me, doing the Bo Nix experience. It's the Las Vegas Raiders taking on the Denver Broncos in Denver. The Broncos are a 3-point favorite after back-to-back road wins over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New York Jets, 2 teams a lot of people think are going to have strong playoff success. Yet the Raiders, they took down the Ravens. They have their second win under their belt as well. They're sitting at 2-2 at plus 125 on the money line. The over-under is at 36 points, one of the most boring projected games on the slate. I think it goes over here. I like points. It's a weak run defense for the Vegas Raiders. I think Javonte Williams finally gets going once again. If you have him, fire him up. Meanwhile, Bo Nix and co. will look to keep that stingy defense to the side of the ball, carrying them and playing turnover-free football like he did last week, or maybe only have one, but still. I think he's looking kind of like Will Levis, in my opinion. I'm not too sold on this Broncos team. I lean on the Raiders on the money line. Not my favorite play, but Haas, what are you thinking in this one?
Honestly, there's really not much I like in this game. You kind of talked about it earlier. Really, really tough game. You're going to see this probably pop up maybe once or twice when you're watching the red zone, unless you're really high on either the Raiders or the Broncos. But my play of the day in this game is going to be a Cortland Sutton touchdown. He's really been playing pretty great. Bo Nix getting him the ball, and I think he finds pay dirt today. If you're looking for an easy pick in this game, definitely going to be that Cortland Sutton touchdown.
That's your easy pick. My easy pick would be Javonte Williams on the ground to get going. Weakest run defense in the NFL, the Las Vegas Raiders are. Meanwhile, Max Crosby is going to be getting after on the other side of the ball. Do I trust Bo Nix to air it out? I don't know. It's a weak Raiders defense. Cortland Sutton been getting more targets than he was before, as he should, but still not enough as a wide receiver 1, in my opinion. Running the ball for the Vegas Raiders, that's the big question mark. Do they have anybody that can do it? I don't think so. Stay away from all 3 of their options. Brock Bowers, that's an interesting one. People are heralding him as one of the top 10 ends in the game. Now, 2 weeks in a row, he's on the downfall, and people are starting to worry about him. Do I send him back to the wire? No, never. You hold on to him. I think he has a better game this week. Still don't have too high of expectations with the Denver Broncos. That's a tough defense. We got Huff back from his latest shot. Huff, I know you're loving these Denver Broncos. You might be the only person in this whole podcast realm to have the Broncos as a lock of the week, but tell us why.
Yeah, Broncos are my play of the week. I love them. I love the 49ers, another game I don't know if we're going to talk about, but I think it's a big divisional game. Sean Payton's dialing something up in Denver. I like what they're doing. They've come off 2 big wins as underdogs. They're now a favorite at home. I like the Broncos here to cover.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a hotly contested one. It's going to be close throughout. I think there's more points than people think. I could see 20 aside. If you can put up 24 plus today, you win this game. Jacoby Myers going to have a huge day. I love him on his reception prop. I know they have Surtain in that defense, but there's no Devontae Adams. And who has Gardner Minshew been looking to? He's been looking at Jacoby Myers. Wish my Patriots still had him, as he's been great. He's been great ever since he left New England. Just a PPR machine. Let me get to some more questions in the chat. Haas, fire this one off. Michael Pittman or Jalen Waddle? Who are you going there?
Ugh, tough matchup. But honestly, I guess if you had to pick between the two, I'd probably go with Joe Flacco in Indianapolis today. He loves to get that ball out to those receivers. I actually think it's going to be a good Josh Downs day, to be honest with you, if you're talking about Indianapolis. But Joe Flacco likes to air out that ball. Give me Michael Pittman Jr. over Jalen Waddle. I made the mistake of taking Waddle pretty high in one of my leagues too, and it's been a tough way to put him on the bench each week. But I mean, you're really going to have to. It's not a great situation there in Miami for their quarterback room, but I really think if you're going to have to pick between the two, give me Michael Pittman Jr.
Yeah, shout out to M for the question in the chat. Like we said, we love when we get these fantasy questions, trying to help you guys out. I'm going with Michael Pittman as well. Jalen Waddle and that Dolphins offense is going up against stout Patriots defense. Expect an under there. Expect Mike McDaniel and co. to have struggles finding ways to get the ball into their receivers' hands. If I'm going to fire anyone up, it's going to be a Chain and Hill in that game. Everybody else, I'm going to wait and see. Maybe Mostert too. Shady coming back. Maybe they get the ball into his hands more. Touchdown leader last year. Another good question here in the chat. Start one, Sergio Duffy. Shout out Sergio for the question. One receiver spot, one flex. Tyreek Hill, Ayuk, and JSN. Pick 2.
Oof.
I'm going to go with JSN and Tyreek Hill. I am not trusting Brandon Ayuk until I see more out of him. That enough said. Brock Purdy, great passer, spreads the ball, wins the game more than pads the stats for his receivers. Fields or Jordan Love? Jordan Love all day of the week. Packers, one of my favorite plays of the week at -3 here. I think they're in a great spot. Hoss, I liked what you said about the Colts, though. They're going up against the Jags this week. You talk about Josh Downs. We talk about Michael Pittman, who came to life last week. That Jags team is not playing well yet this year. They almost had a win, almost had their first win of the year, but that defense has been playing great. Last question here before we jump to our next game. PPR, Sermon or Madison? I'm going Sermon this week. I think in this spot start, he's going to have a decent week. Judy or Leggett? I love Leggett in this spot. Andy Dalton revitalizing all the guys in their offense. If you play daily fantasy, fire up Deontay Johnson. Fire up Xavier Leggett, too. Fire up Chuba Hubbard. These Carolina Panthers, you can buy in on them a little bit more with Andy Dalton at the helm. All right, let's dive into let's talk about a couple more. We got a great Sunday night football game. Let me rattle through a couple real quick for you, Hoss. Just give me a quick answer here. Cardinals at +280, +7 against the Niners. Can they cover or win this game?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I know how high you are on the Cardinals, but I honestly don't even like them at +7. I think Jordan Mason's going to run all over that team. And I really think the 49ers defense is going to give a lot of trouble to the Kyler Murray and the Cardinals.
Yeah, I think I like the over 49 there. I think James Conner and Marvis Harrison still have productive days and a big losing effort as the Niners look to get above 500. Like I said, my lock of the week is probably going to be the Packers over the Rams. Packers coming at -3 on the road, and the Rams at +140. They're banged up. They don't have Kupp. They don't have Puka. I know Kyron's look good, and Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay can do it with a lot less, but Packers are primed on making the playoffs again. Jordan Love's healthy. I think Josh Jacobs rumbles for a big day. Him to find the end zone is one of my favorite plays. Him on his rushing prop is one of my favorite plays. They went down early last week and were forced to abandon the run game against the Vikings, so I think they're able to get going this week. We got the Giants taking on the Seahawks. I think there's a better chance that them at +275 and them at +7 can cover or win the game more so than the Cardinals over the Niners. Do you think the Giants can upset these Seattle Seahawks and the Seahawks kind of come back down to earth?
I honestly don't. I wouldn't be shocked to see that. I imagine taking a look at the red zone again in this situation and being like, "Oh wow, that game's close."
Without Malik Neighbors, let us remember, no Malik Neighbors. Fire up Wan'Dale Robinson.
Wan'Dale Robinson. Yeah, definitely. That was one of my big plays of the week. And honestly, just to kind of say too, my big fantasy plays of the week, definitely going to be Brock Bowers, like you talked a little bit about earlier, Javonte Williams, Chuba Hubbard, and all of those Packers wide receivers, whichever ones you can get.
Dontavian
Wicks.
Yeah.
I told you about him even before week 1. I was a huge Dontavian Wicks guy.
Drafted well last year. Looked good.
Absolutely love all of them. Definitely fire them up, but going to be a really good stat day today for those wide receivers for sure.
I love the LaFleur and McVay matchup. I think that's going to be an underrated one, but I think the Packers are just too overpowering for this Rams team at the current. That's my lock of the week. You can book that, and I think they're going to get the job done. But let's move into our Sunday night football bout. Huff's Pittsburgh Steelers, home favorites against the Dallas Cowboys. I think this is an astonishing line to me. I know they're exceeding expectations, and they're playing at Heinz Field. Yes, we know it's Acrisure Stadium, but I'm calling it Heinz Field because that's what it will always be known as. I know they're at home and how good they play there and how well coached they are and how the Cowboys are banged up and playing bad. But how are they underdogs against the Pittsburgh Steelers? This is the Dallas Cowboys we're talking about. This isn't a playoff game. This is the regular season where the Dallas Cowboys come to shine. You know what side I'm leaning on here, but we'll give you the official lines here. We have the Cowboys coming in at +120. Yeah, +120 even now. That line's been shifting between 15 and 25 all week. And then you have the Steelers at -2.5 and the over-under at 43.5. I got to think if you like the Steelers here, then it's going to go under. And if you like the Cowboys here, it still could go under with the Steelers not scoring. But Huff, let us know what you think. You got a crazy play on this one that you already locked in on a guy that you love to hate on, and I love to gas up a little bit. Let us know why you're taking the Steelers and your boy Fields.
I mean, I think it's going to be a tight game. Obviously, Sunday Night Football in Pittsburgh, it's always going to be a scene at Heinz Field. The towels are going to be going. Me and Jesse will be in attendance for this one. 2.5 point favorite. It is a weird line. I don't love the spread. I am on Fields to score a first team touchdown +400. I mean, Najee Harris doesn't have a touchdown in through 4 weeks or 5 weeks, whatever we're in through 4. I look at Justin Fields have another big day on the ground, keep things rolling. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I might take the under more than the Steelers. I like that play a little bit more. I hate going to games and betting an under, though, so it's going to be tough. But I do like Fields to score first in this game. Not first team, I should say.
Yeah, Justin Fields, you can find him at any time at plus money to scamper in. He's been doing it week in and week out. I've been telling Huff week in and week out as well. He's a big Russ guy, but Justin Fields is your answer now and in the future, at least for this season. He's been carrying the load. He's been keeping the Steelers relevant. Almost had that massive comeback last week. You get a mix of the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sometimes he fumbles when he's spread eagle on the field. Sometimes he's running it in from 20 yards out. I know that Huff doesn't like betting the under when he's in person, but Jesse's been cashing on those totals. If you guys have seen his record this year, been insane, on fire. And like we've said on the pod plenty of times, if you like the Steelers, might as well just take the under because that's what's usually going to happen. TJ Watt and co. looking to get the job done. I don't know if anybody else can find the end zone. Truly unsure if anybody else can find the end zone for the Yinzers. George Pickens looks really good, honestly. I think he's a top receiver in the league. If he had a true quarterback, then he might be a top 10 receiver in the league. He has that potential, still really young in his career. Freiermuth is another intriguing option as well. But I think the Dallas Cowboys, led by Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb will have his way with this secondary. Jake Ferguson coming on the scene. I think it's good that Brandon Cooks has just been placed on the IR. Shady pickup for those of you in bye week or injury hell. Jalen Tolbert, go grab him. I was very high on him coming into the year. He was behind Cook, so his target share wasn't too great, but he has that great potential, flashy, big play ability. And with him getting a more prominent role in the offense, with no running back threat to garner up those extra targets, I think after Ferg and Lamb, it's going to be Tolbert. But fire up those big two. Hoss, where are you leaning on this Cowboys game? I love them on the money line.
It's actually really weird to say, but I'm high on the Steelers. It's crazy because they put me on the cast for this one, so I get to sing my praise for the Pittsburgh Steelers. But I really think we're going to have a good George Pickens day for sure. I like him over his receiving yards prop, and I actually like him to get in the end zone as well. I really think that this is going to be a big day for that Steelers offense. I've actually been really high on Justin Fields. I don't understand where the slander comes from. Like you said, you got to take the good with the bad, but as far as whatever the hell we watched last year with that boring Steelers offense, I really like what he brings to the field. But definitely give me the over on the receiving yards for George Pickens. Like him to get in the end zone, and I actually really like the over in the rushing yards for Najee Harris, and I like to see him get in the end zone as well. Those are my two plays that I'm actually going to put on the book too. Definitely like Najee Harris here today.
Wow, Najee Harris love. You don't hear that often. I don't even think Najee Harris likes Najee Harris.
I always have. Honestly, I don't understand what it is. I mean, I know how slow he kind of is behind that line.
There is no Alabama O-line. They're not going to be within the 5-yard line 15 times a game to give them 10 chances to get in. It's the Justin Fields show. I told Huff, if you're taking that first team at +4, you better have the anytime on the card as well because he's going to get in at some point. You just don't know when. But my favorite play, if you're betting on any type of points in the Steelers game, which is blasphemy to me, is Chris Boswell to pin some through with his boot because he's the only guy that's consistent on that offense.
Over 1.5. That's a great bet for Boswell.
Yeah, I mean,
I do like Pickens to get in too. I don't know who said that. I like Pickens to get in.
But you guys forget he's going up against a good secondary. Trayvon Diggs will be on him. We'll have to see. Will Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence's injuries hamper them? Are they active? I know Micah Parsons is out for this one, so that's going to be interesting to see. TJ Watt, that would have been the highlight. You get to see the two best pass rushers in each conference, but instead we just get to see TJ Watt do his thing. He's going to have to carry. Let me check back to the chat real quick, see what you guys are saying here. Downs or Whittington PPR? I'm going to go with Whittington in the PPR. I'm not starting either of them. Josh Downs, give me one more week before you see him. Hoss said he's high on him, especially with Flacco at the helm. But I expect Flacco to spread the rock and target his key receivers like Michael Pittman Jr. Pick one, Pickens or Brian Robinson or Diggs or Higgins. We can use some commas. You don't need the or every time. One time works just well. But appreciate the question there, Goligoski. I'm going to go with Pickens there. I think just his target share is really high. If that's Stephon Diggs, actually, and I can only pick one, Stephon Diggs, revenge game, book it. Hoss, I know you might disagree and say Pickens, but I'm going with Diggs there. Do I start Sutton, Dell, or Shaheed in my flex spot? Shaheed, he's a big play waiting to happen. Hoss, give us your praise on Rashid Shaheed real quick.
You know how much I love Rashid Shaheed. That guy's awesome. Unbelievable deep threat out of New Orleans. An unbelievable guy, too. I really like Rashid Shaheed. Get the job done in a lot of different ways. Give me the big playability on Rashid Shaheed for sure. You know I'm going to be starting him this week.
Sean Boyd, great question there. Kareem Hunt or Trey Sermon? I like Sermon in the spot start, but when you have Kareem Hunt in the prime time for a Chiefs offense that can score at any given moment, I know it's the Saints defense. Give us Kareem Hunt, and you're going to be thanking yourself when you're in a close matchup going into Monday night and you still have Kareem Hunt to go. Cowboys winning tonight. Zach Merritt, way to be. I like that too. Putting the house on it. Make sure you got a second house to live in case they can't get it done at Heinz Field. Tyler Phipps saying go Ravens. He's got 4 purple hearts in the chat for you, Hoss. Stevenson or Gibson? Oof, go Antonio Gibson. He's looked good even with less touches. Downs, Kirk, or Reek? You got to start Reek. If you sitting Tyreek Hill, you shouldn't have drafted him. Joe Flacco or Derek Carr? I'm going with Joe Flacco purely based off matchup. Got him at $20 on my daily fantasy on Yahoo Fantasy Sports. I think it's a good price. You can spread the wealth to the rest of your lineup. Najee Ford. Oof. Go look at the waiver wire. Maybe Antonio Gibson. Gibson or Stevenson again. This guy's really feeding that one. Yeah, Gibson. Would you trade Saquon for A.J. Brown and Montgomery? I think I would. Start Jaden Daniels or Josh Allen? Great question. Great question. How do you have both of them? Good draft pick with Daniels late in the round. I'm guessing you got Josh Allen in the third. I'm going to go with Josh Allen today. I think it's a shootout down there in Houston. And Saquon or Nico Collins, like, why is there an option to sit either of them? Get them both in your lineup. 2 more here. Tyrone Tracy, any update, any upside today? Hoss, I saw you pick him up in one of our leagues.
Yeah, I like Tyrone Tracy. I mean, he has the ability to really do something this week. I'm not extremely high on him, but I really like the spot here. I don't know really what other option. What did he say? What was the question? It was Tyrone Tracy or who?
No, just give us your thoughts on Tyrone Tracy.
I mean, I really think he has a spot to really shine here. They really need somebody to step up, and I really think he can. Just the lack of availability in that room really speaks to somebody being able to fill those shoes. And they've sung praises of him, obviously, if you take a look at a lot of what they're saying out of their camp. But Tyrone Tracy, somebody that I would like to get into my lineup, but I'm not going to sit any of the people I picked for him.
Yeah, I think so too. It might not be a bad flex play if you got a lot of injuries and buys, but Diggs, Deontay, or more. Oof, I want to say Stephon Diggs every time with the revenge question, but I can't sit Deontay Johnson. He has like 27 targets in the last 2 or 3 games. Andy Dalton looks to him every play, and he looks like a great receiver. Fire up Deontay Johnson. He might even find the end zone. PPR stud, especially if you're in a full-point league. JSN, Tyreek Hill, Zay Flowers. I'm going with Zay Flowers here. I think he gets back involved with the offense against a weaker secondary. I think he's going to make Cam Taylor-Britt get a little exposed. Hoss, here's a really good comment for you. Username Cincinnati Everything. Their comment to you is, who dey?
That's a question that goes unanswered. I mean, really, who are they? I really don't understand why everybody's so high on Joe Burrow all the time. I really don't think they're going to be able to get it done against my Ravens today. You're going to see another big Lamar masterclass in Cincinnati, and you guys are going to all be sad again. Everybody's going to be like, oh, Joe Burrow, I wonder what he's going to do with this hair after this one.
Yeah, TikTok chat, love these questions here. Give me your picks today. Give me who you think is your lock of the week with the spread. I want to see the spread too. Give me your dog of the week, or give me your anytime touchdown score of the week. I want to see what people are liking. We've given you ours all day. I got a few more to share with you. I'm going to answer this question quick. User 627 yada yada. Get a better username, maybe on a burner on TikTok. Javonte Williams or Ramondre Stevenson, what you think? I think Javonte Williams. Antonio Gibson's getting the start. And, it's going to be a 2-headed back there in New England. It's probably going to be a low-scoring game. Javonte Williams, rebound game here, going up against the worst run defense in the NFL. Fire him up with confidence. He might even find the end zone. Downs or Rome in a PPR? Romo Downs.
I really like Odunze today, too. That was another piece that I didn't really get to speak on at all, but I like Odunze to hit pay dirt as well. I like Josh Downs for like the upside. Obviously, you can see him pop off for a big day. It just depends on who Joe Flacco is going to be looking to. But if you're just looking for like a surefire, I need like 8 points, Rome Odunze is going to be pretty consistent with that, and I actually think he gets in the end zone.
Yeah, that's not a bad play. Let me give us some more questions in the chat here. Definitely love helping you guys out. Got to help you win week 5 in your fantasy matchup. We don't want to be going to 0-5, especially for any of those stragglers out there. Probably trying to go to 5-0, unlike Haas, maybe like me. But let's look at our mortal locks this week. Huff already said his. It's the Denver Broncos and Bo Nix. The Bo Nix effect, I guess, is getting the Huff's head. He's an Oregon Duck for today. My lock of the week is going to be the Green Bay Packers -3. I'll take them on the money line, though, for the mortal lock. If you're going to throw your mortal lock, you're going to house it, go with the money line. We got the Green Bay Packers this week. I think they get the job done. Matt LaFleur and co., they're looking to get to the playoffs, and the Rams are just looking to get healthy and stay relevant. Hoss, what's your mortal lock of the week? Is it the Ravens -2.5?
Honestly, I like Ravens -2.5 a lot. My lock of the week, though, is going to, like, if you're going to slam something that's guaranteed to hit, Derrick Henry is definitely going to get into the end zone. I can promise you that. That is going to be the one thing that if I needed to put the house on it, that's going to be my thing every single week until it proves me wrong.
Yeah, Jesse and Huff both on the Steelers tonight. I'm not going to say that's Jesse's lock of the week. His lock of the weeks are going to be on those totals. He's got 3 or 4 of them rolling out today. So make sure you tune in because he's been on fire. He's got Jaden Daniels on the card as well. My official card is going to be coming out on our podcast. Make sure you go follow us there. You like get these fantasy questions, go DM us on our account. We'll get back to you whenever you need them. Prime time, regular days. You need some betting advice on the MLB playoffs, on the NCAA. We got you there. Go follow us, hitthebooks.pod on Instagram. DM us your questions, TikTok, Twitter, hitthebookspod. You'll see all of our cards posted. We post our results, everything posted there on social media. Make sure you get that interaction up. Just a couple other things here. Haas, how are we looking on this London game real quick? I know we got that currently live. Anybody got some thoughts on this London game as it's currently going?
Did you just see what happened, Alex?
No, I did not.
The Van Ginkel touchdown just brought it back to the crib.
Van Ginkel pick 6. I had the Vikings. I didn't get my play in time. I had the Vikings in the over. I wasn't loving it too much, but I mean, these Jets, maybe they're overrated. I bought in last week. No, they're on the no bet list because they lost to the Denver Broncos at home. Vikings up 10-0. Sam Darnold not even having to play great yet. Justin Jefferson 3 catches. These Minnesota Vikings, man. Let me get a skull in the chat for these Vikings because they're going to keep winning. Skull. All right, keep it moving here. Last question here. Is Downs worth starting? Keep him on your bench until you see more. Love the Packers team total over 26.5. Me too. That Rams defense is Swiss cheese. They don't have Aaron Donald up the middle to plug the run anymore. I think this is a huge Josh Jacobs day. He's going to expose a lot of people out of those receivers out. Start Fields or Stroud. If you're asking that question, go back to the lobby. We're going to go with CJ Stroud. Press Y again, ready up without Justin Fields. Any more straggling questions before we log off? Let us know. We're ready to cash some bets. Got a great slate today. My New England Patriots on the money line. We didn't talk about them. It's a Jacoby Brissett day. He's going to throw for 190 and win by 3. Maybe. I don't know. Don't book anything on that Patriots game. You know what you can bet on there? Gerard Mayo to be coaching today. That's a lock. It should be a great slate today. Like I said, tune in. We've been cashing at an alarming rate. We got some MLB playoff plays too. Mackey's over there, over ecstatic in Mets land, getting ready for that one. I don't know how these Mets keep winning, but they do. Dodgers win the World Series in case you missed it. Tomorrow night, we have a good Monday Night Football game. No doubleheader on Monday Night Football this week. Kind of sad, but it is what it is. You can't have them every week. I think 2 weeks from now. You be posting the plays? Yeah, hitthebooks.pod. Go over there. Follow us on Instagram. We have everything posted from week 1 till now in the highlights. You can see what we've hit on, what we've missed on. Get out there and follow it. It's where you want to be. Listen to our podcast. Releases every Wednesday. We dive in depth into every single game. These live streams, we're just giving you the best plays of the day. But on our weekly podcast, you get every single play in depth, the injuries, the coaching matchups, who's hot, who's not, what to look for, divisional impact, seasonal impact. Let us know. Have a good day. Enjoy it. Win those bets. Hit those bets. Thanks for following. LOL. Love the name. I don't know how you secured that. Must be a legend. Tell your friends. Tell them to tap in, tune in. Ride with me, Ace. Hot week last week. Hot again this week. We're feeling it. Hoss, thanks for joining. Tune in. Catch you guys there.